Wakey, wakey, my liege. Was it a nice nap? Seems like you enjoyed yourself. Needed the rest, I would imagine. You've been working yourself ragged recently, after all. I've been telling you that you'll run yourself right into the ground if you weren't careful, haven't I? What am I wearing? My liege, these are clothes. Do not tell me you are properly moved by a simple set of garments. They are quite comfortable, believe it or not. So much more than those layered monstrosities your ilk insists on being properly proper. Never understood that, right, Truth, my liege? How can you be comfortable wearing layer upon layer of stuffing and underwirings and wools? A few simple pieces is all you need. And don't even try and get me started on how ridiculous it is to try and move in those things. Foolish indeed. If I speak some more right truth, my liege, I'm disappointed in you. I sit in your throne, you with your hands bound behind your back and a right nasty wound on your noggin, and all you can notice is my choice of dress? I would have thought you'd be just a little less blind now that I've forced the wool from your eyes. Oh, my liege, why must you make this so difficult? You make it so easy to forget how much of a mess you've made of this kingdom when you speak so resolutely from selflessness. Yes, I am very aware of the punishment that was once demanded for any that was not of royal lineage that would sit on this throne. Seeing how there is someone new making such impositions of laws, though, I have no reason to fear my own survival. I have taken the decision from your hands. That's what I've done. Now that I no longer have to hide away behind those ridiculous clown costumes, I am going to give you the reprieve you've dreamed of from the moment you were forced to take the crown. Don't ask questions you will not want to know the answers for. Uprisings are an ugly business, and not all from the prior administration are capable of living through them. Your captors, they've held you hostage from the very second you were born. Never forget, my liege, who was there to hear every whispered confession into a deaf, dark, blind sky. Do not forget who fetched and hid the cloths you utilized to dry every tear you ever cried. This is what I've always known about you. You are too weak to rule. You're too kind, too empathetic. You rule from the heart, you fool, as if that will get you anywhere other than where you are right now, run over by someone willing to seize control with an iron fist. You are very correct on that, my liege. I was not raised up in comfort and riches as you. I did not have the luxury of attending classes to gain an education. Instead, I had to seek one out myself. But that is just it, my liege. You have not seen the world as I. You cannot even begin to fathom the highs and lows that I have experienced and witnessed. You know nothing of the majority of the world. And with such ignorance, how could you, so blinded by wealth and opulence, be capable of leading a world rife with the exact opposite? The fields were raised by our enemies, while your worthless advisors grew fat. The very people that tended those fields wasted away into nothingness. And what was your answer? To contract foreigners in a short-sighted attempt to heal the land. And what happened with such a solution, my liege? Did you ever find out what your grand plan resulted in? Oh, yes, yes. Of course, that's what you were told. It did, in fact, work. For a month, before those charlatans' magic dissipated, and we were right back to the very beginning, with our fields wrecked and no hope for agriculture in the near future. But do you know what your people were told when they wanted you to do your duty and help them? They were told by your nobility that this was no longer a crown matter, that you had already given them a solution that had worked. Instead, these laborers were blamed for having raised the fields themselves to no longer have the work. They were not even allowed to bring this to you, the highest authority in the land, because they were threatened into silence by the snakes in your garden. Did you not wonder why this year's census showed off that numbers of laborers had plummeted? You need not answer. I know you were not even aware that the official numbers had been published. You were far more focused on ensuring your sister was married off to the right noble, because when it pertains to you, your inner circle is of much more importance than those below you, those that need you to be wise enough to make the right decision for them. Your sister did not need to be married off. There was no urgency. She could have been fine another year of maidenhood. But you couldn't live with that, could you? So blinded by your own emotions, you listened to her when she pleaded and begged to allow her hand to be taken by that elven half-blood. And where did that get her? Stop running. Open your eyes, you absolute buffoon. You try and try to please and give and fix. But where has that arse-kissing gotten you? You have been walked over from the day you were born. You may have been forced into wearing the crown, but you never truly learned how to wield it. You've been a mere puppet of a leader. But today is when that ends. Even through all of your mistakes, I still cherish you dearly. You are a terrible leader, an inept ruler, and an atrocious problem solver. But you have a unique gift in the arts that was never nurtured, was never allowed to flourish. I will give you one choice, my liege. Stay in this castle, my subordinate. Take on the role I fulfilled for you, and fulfill the duties of a court artist. You will be taken care of, within due reason. No extravagance, but no hardships either. You will not be well received by most, admittedly, but there are workarounds to prejudice. The second option is a simple one. Leave. Become your own person, independent of any that previously shackled you. Find your own way. Take on the freedom you've always wanted. But know this. If you choose this option, I will not be able to protect you. Know this, my liege. I know your virtues as much as your vices. The rest of this kingdom, the people that took part in this uprising and ensured its success, they only know your vices, along with your face. I will not impede you from the freedom before you, but I will not fall into the very folly you suffer from. I may cherish you dearly, but I will not be responsible for you should you leave these grounds. You have until nightfall to make your choice. Wherever do you think I would go at a time like this? I've got a kingdom to run.